Oh, look what time of year it is. Oh, it's the best time of year. It's the time to talk about some really horrible movies that I really didn't like. Some films that I really couldn't stand seeing. Films I went to the theater and I thought to myself, why do I do this? I questioned humanity. I questioned my love of film. Some dishonorable mentions include Friend Request, Kidnap, Home Again, Rupture, Geostorm, 47 Meters Down, and Triple X, The Return of Xander Cage. Congratulations to those films. They were truly awful, but they weren't as bad as the next 10 that we're going to talk about. Let's begin. Oh, the Snowman! Sitting through this was terrible. It was so boring and filled with such potential. The cast and the filmmaker alone, the cinematographer, everything about this movie should have been great. And it was one of the worst thrillers that this year had to offer. Oh my god, The Circle. If The Snowman wasn't boring enough, The Circle is one of the most difficult films to sit through. Again, filled with a lot of potential. Emma Watson and Tom Hanks in the same movie? Okay, let's see. Oh, nothing's happening. It's a bunch of metaphors about technology and how dangerous it is. This movie's really ahead of its time. We've never seen a film like that before, ever. Oh, Stanley Kubrick did that in the 60s. Oops. Oh, boy. I'm sure most of you didn't even see Collide. I'm sure most of you don't even know what that is. Well, I saw it, and it was really fucking bad. I hated this film. It was almost a comedy, and Ben Kingsley, with his crazy performance, sort of kind of saved certain scenes, but for the most part, it was just an action thriller with no thrills. Don't Hang Up was a VOD horror film that was in a few theaters, and I decided to go to a theater nearby and actually see it because I like supporting independent films, especially indie horror. I think indie horror filmmakers can do some really great things, and most of them are doing things way better than mainstream horror filmmakers are. In this case, this was a film that had good intentions, but was filled with some of the worst performances of the year, and some truly awful special effects, and a story that seemed like it was sewn together really quickly by taking a bunch of other parts from other films and mashing them all into one. Unforgettable is truly unforgettable in one specific sense, that you cannot stop remembering how awful it was. This film is filled to the brim with Lifetime Channel drama. It's a big soap opera movie starring talent that's proven in the past to be, for the most part, better than this material, but for whatever reason decided to make it. The Bye Bye Man. I could easily put this film on my number one because it's just so completely incompetent and just about everything about it was a complete failure. But I couldn't because I had so much fun watching and reviewing this movie with my buddy the Flick Pick. This was one of the most fun experiences I had at the theater all year because we could barely contain our laughter. The death scenes, the stupid wallpaper turning into something. I mean, this film had everything. The Bye Bye Man is one of the best unintentionally funny horror movies I've seen in a long time. All that being said, it is really bad. For almost every single movie I've seen at the theaters in the past few months, they've shown a trailer for the new 50 Shades Freed or whatever it's called, and I'm dreading going to that theater because 50 Shades Darker is the second in this series to receive an F, and it is well deserved. It's one of the worst stories, one of the worst relationships ever portrayed in film. It's barely even good enough as a comedy. It's just atrocious in every way. And you can almost see on the actors' faces with every line they say, they're just cringing and just waiting for their contracts to be up. Resident Evil, the final chapter. One can only hope, because this series has proven to be one of the most incompetently directed series and written ever. It completely scrubs the awesomeness that is the source material. I'm a huge fan of the Resident Evil games, and it goes for this stupid Matrix ripoff sci-fi horrible shaky cam bullshit editing action scenes, and I can't stand it, and this may have been the worst in the entire franchise. I'll be honest, I almost put Flatliners at number 1 because this is, hands down, one of the most boring films I have ever seen. I could barely sit through this movie. There was a guy in the theater, literally one other guy in the theater, who got on his phone every once in a while because he was apparently bored too. And I said this in my review. I was more entertained by glancing over his phone screen lighting up every once in a while than the actual movie that was playing out in front of me. It was this strange movie that was supposedly going to be a sequel to the original Flatliners. It even has Kiefer Sutherland in a role, but he's playing a completely different character. Instead, it was just some strange retread trying to recapture whatever the original film had, which the original film isn't even all that good. Flatliners, without a doubt, is 2017's cinematic NyQuil. So of course you guys know what my number 1's going to be. How could you not? What other film this year angered me so much? What other film this year did I truly hate experiencing and even hate talking about? Well, that film is... Of course it's the Emoji Movie. It's the most sickness-inducing film of the year. Yeah, it's a throwaway animated movie that maybe kids will go to. Whoopity fucking do, right? Actually, as an adult sitting in this theater filled with children and hearing them all go, ooh, when they saw the YouTube app. Or, oh, mommy, it's Spotify. Or, oh, they're playing Just Dance, mommy. Sitting in that theater with those kids, realizing that the moral of the film they're all watching was text more often, made me want to find every copy of this movie and destroy it. This is a movie that isn't just a terrible, unfunny, boring concept that should never have happened. It's a film that panders to children's intelligence and teaches them lessons they should never learn. And if you ever thought, even for a second, that I was remotely exaggerating my hatred for this movie, well, then I have this to say. Back when the Emoji Movie came out, I almost wanted to go to a second showing of it just to sit in the middle of the theater and laugh without smiling, as annoying as I possibly could. Just sit there every time Meh said some stupid thing and go, Well, there you have it. Those are my least favorite movies of 2017. Guys, thank you so much for watching another year in film with me. It's been great talking about some mostly pretty good movies. There's always some stinkers, but it was also nice to vent. It's fun to make these videos. Guys, thank you so much for watching my videos, and I really appreciate it. As always, if you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmanized.